welcome to another educational video about screen printing by Catspit Productions. Today I just wanted to do a quick tips video, quick tips for screen printing, and this is a question that I get asked a lot, very often, so I thought I would make a very quick video about it. But before we go on, please remember that Catspit Productions sells screen printing equipment and supplies at catspitscreenprintsupply.com. So if you need any screen printing equipment or supplies, please give us a chance, check out what we have to offer, give us a call, talk to us. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about equipment or supply purchases personally. So you get to talk with me. Alright, so give me a call and I'm happy to help you out. Alright, so I get asked almost on a daily basis and definitely on a weekly basis, how long do I have to let my screens dry after I coat them with emulsion? Okay, so the question is, when I coat my screens with emulsion, how long do I have to let them dry before I can expose them and make the stencil? Okay, now the answer to this really varies greatly depending on where you are, your relative humidity, the amount of emulsion you coat on the screen, and yada yada yada. A lot of different variables, okay? So, because I can't really tell you specifically that yes, if you coat one screen, it'll take 20 minutes to dry where you are, or if you coat 10 screens and put them in a dry box, it'll take, you know, such and such time for them to dry. That's not really possible. We can guesstimate and estimate sometimes, but due to the fact that the relative humidity where you are is going to affect that drying time, and your drying environment, whether you use a dry box with ventilation or just a bathroom with the door closed, all of those things are going to affect how quickly the emulsion dries. A very, very important thing to remember about emulsions is, well, quite simply that they are over 50% water. Okay, so when you have a quart of emulsion or a gallon of emulsion, that container has over 50% water, okay? And we have to allow some space and ventilation for that moisture to go. It has to have a place to go. So here's the thing. If you're using an enclosed dry box, it would be a good idea to have some kind of ventilation. And it's not so much the heat as it is the air movement or the air displacement, because if you're in a closed box, a dry box, and the emulsion is over 50% water and it evaporates off and it's in a closed box, the moist air, the evaporated moisture, has nowhere to go. So the emulsion cannot continue to dry and evaporate, and what you end up actually having are dwell spots where the moisture pulls up on the emulsion and causes these dimples. Okay, so if you're using a homemade enclosed dry box, make sure that it has at least one fan that can circulate the air in there without stirring up a bunch of dust, right? Adequate air circulation, whether it be in an enclosed dry box, a light-safe dry box, or whether you're using a dedicated dark room, or if you're using the bathroom in your home and you're just closing the door and making it dark, the best way to ensure that the screens dry evenly, efficiently, and quickly is to allow for proper ventilation and proper airflow. Heat is, you know, heat can help, but excessive heat can also cause the emulsion to cure. So when in doubt, just use airflow. It doesn't necessarily have to be hot. Airflow, okay? And remember that in areas with higher humidity, 80–90% humidity, it's going to take longer for your screens to dry, as opposed to like where I am in Phoenix, Arizona, where we have 15 or 20% humidity. My screens dry fairly quickly, okay? But let me just give you my professional tip on my advice on what you should do in allowing the time for your screens to coat or your screens to dry after you coat them with emulsion. This is my major tip that I can give you. The secret tip of the day is, or my tip to you, is don't rush it, okay? You know, there will be those times when you need to rush a screen, and that's fine. But on a general basis, when you're working from day to day, don't rush the screens. Don't try to coat screens the same day that you want to expose them. Don't sit there and coat 6 screens and then want to coat them or expose them 2 hours later. You know what I'm saying? Plan a little bit ahead. What I do is I have a big dry box that I made. It's a light safe dry box. It holds about 17 screens. So I will coat about 12 screens or more at one time in the evening, the night before that I want to expose my screens. And then I allow them to dry overnight. And that way I know without a doubt, there's no doubt, they're dry. They've had 8 hours or more to dry and evaporate, and as long as the drying conditions have proper ventilation, you're fine, and that's it, okay? Otherwise, basically, when you're rushing a screen, you know, there's no real way to tell when it's really, really dry, because sometimes emulsion can hold a little bit of humidity in it. So you can use an aquameter if you have the money to afford one, or you can, use the touch and see if the emulsion feels cool or tacky. It probably still has too much humidity in it to expose. But when in doubt, simply allow enough time for them to dry by doing it the night before and allowing them to dry, and you should have no problems. All right, that's it for today. Little, probably longer video than I always want to do. I tend to, go on a little bit with details, but I hope you like that. So thanks a lot for watching my videos. I really appreciate your time and attention. Please remember to check out Catspit screenprintsupply.com if you need screen printing equipment or supplies. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.